You're too close to me, Gordon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Go ahead
afternoon.
and call to order our Brawley City Council and successor agency of the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency, our regular meeting Tuesday, September 1st, 2020 at 6 p.m., held today at our City Council chambers at 383 Main Street here in Brawley. And go ahead and do roll call.
Councilmember Nava,
Here.
Councilmember Wharton,
Here.
Mayor Catherine Howdicky,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamby,
Here.
Councilmember Couch.
Here.
Okay. Since we're meeting in person today, we're going to go ahead and have an invocation, and we'll have our Mayor Pro Tem Luke Hamby do the honors, please. If everybody please stand.
All right, good to be back in chambers. Let's pray. Almighty God and Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you tonight for this opportunity to be here again in these chambers to try to lead this city in the way it should go. Lord, we ask that you would give us wisdom, that you would give us grace. Lord, that you would help our city to survive and to thrive in the midst of this pandemic. Lord, and the economic fallout that is coming, we ask that you would give all of our residents safety and grace as well for those of us that are leading the city. We thank you for every person in this city and for every employee that we have here. We thank you for our safety services, for our police and fire. We thank you for everyone from the smallest job to the biggest job, Lord, because it's what it takes to keep our city moving. We ask that you would watch over our proceedings this evening, or that we would make wise decisions with a mind for the future. And I ask all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, we'll go ahead and have Councilman Wharton lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in the pledge. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Councilman Wharton.
Welcome.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to public appearances and comments, not to exceed 4 minutes. This is a time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Do we have any public comments?
Forget to approve the agenda.
Oh, did I miss something? Oh, sorry. Okay. Doesn't look like we have any public comments, but I failed to ask for the approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hamby and Councilman Couchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, and were any public comments submitted? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Couchman and seconded by Councilman Wharton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, moving right along to item 4, scheduled presentations. And under number 4A, we have a recognition of departing city manager Rosanna Bayonne Moore. And we have a few items to present our city manager with today. The first one, I guess I'll go down.
Yep.
6 feet apart.
Yeah. Rosanna, with sincere appreciation, the mayor and the members of our Brawley City Council hereby honor you, Rosanna Bayonne Moore, for your 9 years of exceptional leadership and dedicated service to the city of Raleigh. Today on September 1st, 2020. Congratulations. Thank you.
Don't
Just
breathe,
hold your
just don't
breath.
breathe.
We have something else for you.
And it's so unusual because of COVID, you know, it's
I
like,
know, it's hard. And then we probably will have the council come down and with mask and without mask. We just try to stand. This is awkward. We have a couple of recognitions for you, one from the California State Senate, Senator Ben Wessel. A certificate of recognition presented to Rosanna Bayonne Moore, Brawley City Manager, in recognition of your 9 years of outstanding service to the city of Brawley and its residents, for your dedication to public service and bettering your community. On behalf of the California State Legislature, Senator Ben Wessel hereby commends you for your work and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Signed, Senator Benz. We also received this one from the Assembly Member Garcia, certificate of recognition to Rosanna Bayonne Moore, Brawley City Manager. On behalf of the 56th California State Assembly District, we honor your 9 years of distinguished service to the city of Brawley. This certificate is in honor of the countless efforts you have made to ensure the growth of the business venture within the city. You have dedicated yourself to this position and have established a great name. You leave behind a legacy that will be cherished by the upcoming employees and the city of Brawley staff members. Thank you for your contributions to our community and best wishes on your continued endeavors. Signed, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, 56th Assembly District. And on behalf of the city, we also want to present you with a beautiful token of our appreciation. So I don't know if we can,
yeah, we can get a picture.
we can get a picture.
Why don't we help her with some, there we go.
You want to hold the flowers?
However you wish.
I guess, maybe, okay. Yeah.
How about you stand in front of this, though, there'll be
Yeah.
papers on it.
Okay.
You can stand next to it.
Right there.
There you go.
Okay, I guess we're all doing it. Rosanna?
Just hold the breath. Just hold the breath. Ready? 1, 2.
Sure. Yes, right in here, up there, or maybe in the back there. You want to do that? Okay, go ahead. I should have worn my jacket. I didn't wear my jacket.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. They're out of my garden, so.
Okay, at this time, we're going to continue with the recognition. I'd like to give the opportunity to my fellow council members to give any comments and then give you the opportunity also. So, you want to go first, George, or
Sure,
whoever
I'd
wants
be
to?
happy to. Rosanna, it's been a long time, you know, here in the city of Brawley. And it's so unusual because of COVID on how, you know, you're moving forward on your career and we're moving on as well. But I just tell you, it's just been a really great experience in working with you. I know sometimes we haven't seen eye to eye on things, but it's just you've been professional. You've really made us whole here in the city. You've held us to a really high standard, and that's really important. You know, I know sometimes that there'd be opposition to some of what you were doing, you know, amongst council members, but really you did it to protect the city, and that responsibility you took very, very seriously. And I appreciate that, not only appreciate it, but I think I commend you for that effort, because it's not easy, you know, trying to satisfy essentially 5 bosses. That's really difficult. And I've always told you that. You know, being city manager is very difficult. I could never do it myself. just because I don't have maybe the temperament, I don't have the patience, I don't have, the qualities that you do, and you possess those, and I think they're your absolute strengths, and I think you're going to do fantastic in your new endeavor. But sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, not just as a friend, but really as a council member here, I thank you for all the work that you've done for the city of Brawley, for its residents, for the businesses. And, I know it's taken time away from your family. You've worked so many long hours and long days here and committed yourself, but it didn't go unnoticed. It was sincerely appreciated. I know I did. I know staff does. And it's just a really difficult job that you've done. So, to say somebody's been city manager for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but really committing themselves for so long, Rosanna, over 9 years, it's incredible. And I wish we could send, you off to your new endeavor in a different way. Just because of COVID and the way we've been separated for so long, there's been some distance amongst everybody. But I wish we could do something different. Unfortunately, we can't right now, but that doesn't mean that our appreciation for you is not super sincere, and that we wish you the best, and that I certainly appreciate everything that you have done for the city. So I thank you again for everything. I wish you well. I know you're going to do well. That is without question. But I do want to thank you for your commitment to us, to the city, to me, and to just the citizens. You've done such a great job in that. So, it was never easy. I know that. And that's a tough job, and it's going to be hard to fill the role that you've held for so long. So thank you, Rosanna, for everything.
Rosanna, I thought about, as soon as I saw the agenda and I knew this evening was going to be in a lot of ways difficult, and it is, I want you to know personally for me, echoing a little bit of, I kind of feel maybe between COVID and our lives and, maybe even our day jobs, etc. There's a lot of forces out there that kind of take away from the time that I was hoping to really come in and chat and just reminiscing over your years of service. It always amazed me how you can work with, treat, and inform the way you did every council member, where I felt on many occasions that you would drop everything and take every moment or time you have with intention, and really support us, not just in the role of council member, but ultimately with the interest of the city in mind. And so you're a rare combination of drive, intelligence, integrity, and work ethic. And I would imagine we can thank your parents and your family for you being the person that you are and certainly have become. I have always said, this professional, you can operate anywhere. I am truly excited for your future, even though this is bittersweet. And it's bittersweet because all I know as a council member is you at the steering wheel. And we have been through some very, some tough waters, and we did that together. On behalf of the citizens of Brawley, I can certainly say, as a matter of public record, your exemplary service has helped this city. Maybe a lot of people, sometimes it's hard to recognize when times are tough, but really get through some difficult, challenging issues. And I thank heavens that we had you there as city manager. So Rosanna, I just, tremendous memories I will not forget, and very proud of what you accomplished, and equally proud of where you're going and what you're going to accomplish. So I hope this is not like a goodbye. I know it's a small world. I hope to see you up there, maybe up there in your natural environment with the new chapter. But I have very high regards and very excited for you and your family on the next chapter. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'll try this little out. I don't know what it does, but I mean, it kind
If it fogs up.
It amplifies your sound to your ears.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say a whole lot. I think you know how I feel on a personal level with your accomplishments here at the city and our working relationship. I think that I've known your family and known you for many, many years. 52 years, I think I was considering how long I've known members of your family and how long, I've been to their homes. I've been, different things with them on a very personal level, and friends with your uncles who are my age or almost around my age. And so I've known your father and your mother and all your aunts and uncles and everybody else in town. And so that's kind of the beauty of Brawley. For me, it's really bittersweet because we have a good working relationship. We've always worked well together. I've always felt like you've kept me informed. I'm always able to call you or come to you with questions, and you're able to provide the answers to me. So I'm very grateful for that. If anybody, I think, can look around Brawley in the last 9 years and see some of the accomplishments that you have been really personally responsible for, along with the council and the staff here and the department heads. There are many, many changes that are occurring in Brawley, and a lot of them are very, very positive. And so we've seen that, with roads and everything. Roads, everything that has to do with Brawley, we've seen some remarkable things happen here, and we will see that in the future, I'm sure. I know you'll do well in your new endeavor. I don't see any reason why you cannot. I think people don't realize how many hours you spent at this job and how much time you devoted to it and how much blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, I think. And I think we all do a little bit of that, but I think from the city manager's side, the city manager probably does the most and does it well, and you've done it very, very well. So with that, I'll just say that, I look forward to seeing you and the family. I look forward to hearing about your success in Antioch, and I look forward to the future for us here in the city of Brawley. And I know I'm going to personally miss you, and I know professionally the city of Brawley will miss you also. And with that, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Rosanna, I've only known you for 3 years at this point, but I have come to know you as someone who is level-headed and professional and hardworking, I think is, to say the least. You're usually here, your car is here from sun up to sundown, and after that, most of the time. I have seen you have courage under fire. A lot of times when people are saying negative things or even personally attacking you, you have stood there and been cool, calm, and collected, at least on the outside, and I admire that. I know a lot of times it's easy for people to, if they're being attacked, either personally or professionally, to fly off the handle or to give the kind of reaction that you would expect, but I've always admired your level-headedness. I've appreciated your persistence in seeing projects and issues through to completion. Sometimes it's not the result that people want or that makes everyone happy, but I don't know that I've ever seen you drop the ball and not pick it back up and take care of an issue, get the questions answered or the project finished. I think you have always tried to make the best of difficult situations here in Brawley, as I've watched you over the last 3 years, and I know even before that. I believe that if there were enough money to do everything that needed to be done, that you would do everything in your power to make each department happy, to feel like they're able to accomplish everything they want to do. And so those are the things that I have noticed and appreciated about you over the last 3 years, and I wish you luck and blessings in the next chapter of your life. And I am jealous that you're going someplace that's cooler than it is here, but you'll be in my prayers for safety and for a productive and prosperous future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Well, with Rosanna, I've known you now, well, it's my 5th year, but I knew of you. I knew of your family also, like Sam, maybe not as close, but I knew your family, talked about because my mother and my sister, and they all know you, your family. So it wasn't like I was just meeting you, so I knew of you and I knew how intelligent you were and your background. So I wasn't surprised to see how you handled the city of Brawley and how you took care of business. I have to say, though, that I was impressed because this job is a big job. And I just always was amazed at how you would be able to handle all the different things that would come up and keep us all informed. Speaking for myself, I came in and there's so much to learn when you come into city government. And I have to say that you were always there to respond to any questions that I have, direct me to the right information. And I have to say that that was also something that I need to compliment you on, because I know you have a lot of work on a daily basis, but it didn't matter if I call or another council member calls or somebody from the public from out in our community calls you. You take the time to respond, and you take the time to figure out what needs to be done, and you give direction. So I never saw you get upset about that, even though there was many times that I thought, geez, with so many things going on at the same time, it would have been understandable if you had done that, but I never saw you do that. I always admired you also for the way you handled yourself out in the community with whoever you spoke to, whether it was another politician or a CEO or just somebody from the community that had a question for you when we have the events. You always gave them your undivided attention, and you always asked them to follow up, that you would follow up, or they could call you. So I think that's a very, very important part of your character that will take you even further than you have gone. So your commitment, your leadership are all, excellent qualities. So I'm not sure what else I can say. I think that we've covered it all. I think that you're an exemplary employee for the city. And like Luke said, I think I was looking at the list of things that we accomplished this past year, or this year, I guess part of 2019 and 2020. And even with the pandemic, we've managed to get things done. And I had to say, gee, and people are out there saying, Raleigh hasn't done anything. But like I said, I beg to differ. We've done a lot. And I think you deserve a lot of that credit, because if you didn't give us the information and stay on top of grants and stay on top of the staff being responsive to the projects, all of these things wouldn't get done. So I think that the city of Antioch is gaining a very good person with you. And I have to say that I was surprised when you said you were leaving. I said, man, the city manager job is such a difficult job. It has so much. I thought, oh, she's probably going to go do something else, because you have a background where you could go do almost anything. So I was surprised that you wanted to go into the same field. But you're a hard worker, and I know that you'll shine over there in the city of Antioch. And so I wish you much success, and I know that we're all going to miss you here in the city of Raleigh.
I'm going to miss you, Roseanne. I really am. And I will tell you, I'm going to miss making you laugh in closed session. That was always fun to do, but I really do appreciate you, and I am going to miss you personally.
Did you want to say any words at this time?
Just a couple brief comments. Want to
Okay.
thank all of you for a remarkable journey. The last 9 years have been incredible. And when I look around the city and see the things that came before me and what I know will come later, the future is bright. I look at the downtown. I know we have a long way to go. Look at the transit center getting sited and established. Look at changes in the downtown as a result of community involvement. Was running through pictures today, just remembering through the years some of these remarkable community efforts that are undertaken that sometimes kind of get lost in the shuffle. But seeing, our Kiwanis Club, Brawley, just before it went truly dormant, going and working with our fire chief and our police chief to lay tile on the redo of the kiosk. Those things are extremely, I think, very much a testament to what this community is about. While sometimes it's easy to take for granted the evolution because it's not fast enough, it's never fast enough to kind of satisfy the appetite and drive of the community. We just try our best with the resources we have. And, in the time that I've been here, station number 2 was opened and staffed. The EOC was built. The Highway 86 corridor transformed. The city took on, with the leadership of the council, the intersection of Pano and Highway 86. This was to kind of be a jump start to the corridor. We saw a bank construction project come forward, which really raised the level and quality of what was in that corridor. We thankfully saw a repurposing of a Burger King, of all things, into another banking institution. We saw Mr. Chandy come in and take over multiple parcels. And we continue to see staff get as creative as they possibly can with funding sources to try to make different things happen for the city that are consistent with the desires and drive of the council. I've shared with our executive team and staff that the City of Brawley Council really has very, very high expectations for this community, and we try our best to meet them always. Sometimes we come up short because we're resource constrained. But I think it's incredibly important to share that none of this is possible without those who came before us, those who were part of the team for a period of time, and those who will continue to be a part of these operations, trying to make the most of some challenging circumstances. And in our universe here, I think scarcity sometimes breeds incredible creativity. I think we do an incredible job with very, very limited resources, but it would not be fair to say that the city manager is responsible for all these things. It's the leadership in this room at the department level. It's departments many times of one that get so creative, helping one another. The interdependence cannot be recognized for its importance. I look back at the period of Ruby Walla, Francisco Soto, some of the Yasmin Arellano, the legwork that they did to get things in motion. And sometimes it felt like that list of priorities was so massive and the pressure so extreme to deliver.
And yourself included, though, Rosanna. I mean, you were like fundamental in those things too. I mean, it's like, yeah.
I appreciate the recognition for it, but also want to be sure that I pay homage to the hours that are necessary from others to make it happen, including the council. You have very, very high expectations that are so admirable. And we all should strive to be the best and provide the best for the community we serve. So I want to thank you for such a remarkable 9 years. I could not be more fortunate for the experience. And I promise you there'll never be a day in my life that I don't remember this time here and the important lessons that came along with it. The good times, the challenging times, the conflict, which to me was more of an opportunity for dialogue, learning how to talk through, find some form of common ground with folks, I think is something all of us can take into everything we do when we're in public service. Figure out what we have in common and see what we can work on together. So I want to thank you for the chance to serve the people of Brawley. I feel very, very fortunate for the time I had here with each of you. And our prior council members who came before you, Councilmember Don Campbell, Councilmember Miguel Miranda, Councilmember Ryan Kelly, all those folks. Each of you really inspire me to be the best I can be. So I thank you so much for these last 9 years. Thank you very much.
It's got dusty in the room all of a sudden. I think
Yes.
there's.
I'd like to go ahead and give an opportunity if any of you, the department heads or anyone would like to make comments, you can do so at this time. If you prefer to do it one-on-one with Rosanna later, that's up to you, but I do want to give you an opportunity if anybody wants to come up and say anything. Go ahead, Mark. Come on up, Marjo.
It's dusty in here. That's why. Maybe these will work for them.
For the eyes. Rosanna, I've worked with many city managers here in the city of Brawley. You are the best one I have ever worked with. You've inspired me when I was struggling to get things done. You've stepped in when I got to a level where something needed to push over the edge, and you were always there to help with those things. You are personable. You are poised. You are a listener, which I think is a skill that if you don't have, you're never going to make it in any endeavor. And I just want to thank you so much for all that I've learned from you, and for your leadership, your guidance, and I just can't thank you enough for being who you've been. Your professionalism, your background just leads all up to your abilities that you've had since the first day you started with Brawley and actually before. So I personally just want to thank you for all of that. On behalf of the library board, they pretty much think you walk on water or that it's not so deep so you can. You have been at meetings when other city managers haven't. You've helped them to understand issues, not always related to the library, a whole bunch of other things. Because I know they've asked you about trash dumps, they've asked you about roads, the whole thing. But you have always been there. You have always been gracious. And I just can't thank you enough. And I would give you the biggest hug in the world if we could. So I just wanted to pass that along. And yes, I'm going to go get some Kleenex. So, thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Okay, anybody else? Okay. You can
Guillermo
share-
doesn't want to cry in front of
You
everybody.
can share
so
your
he's-
thoughts.
They let me do that.
I guess you can share your thoughts later. She's here all week, so there's opportunity. Thank you again, Rosanna. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on then to presentation on the project approach for Main Street improvements from First Street, Brawley Avenue to 8th Street. Guillermo? Now you have to come up, Guillermo.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. By the way, Rosanna gave me the opportunity to be the city engineer and Public Works Director, and I'm thanking her for that.
She stepped up for just a minute.
Okay.
Here she comes. Here she comes.
I was saying, Rosanna, that thank you very much for giving me the opportunity for trust in me to be a city engineer and Public Works Director. And I learned a lot from you and from all the hours that we were sharing, you and your office and me and mine. Not comparing, of course, to the many hours that you were working, but I learned a lot how to dedicate more and always learning from you how not to lose the temper, to be professional, to try to be calm, even if the things are not like the way that I thought that should be. You were always there for me, helping me, backing me up, teaching me and guiding me. And I believe that I grew a lot and I will continue under your leadership. Thank you so much for all what you did and what you taught me. Thank you. Okay, regarding this report, during the month of June 2020, Caltrans informed us of available earmark funds they call 2020 cycle that are eligible for repurposing, which means that the funds can be repurposed into existing projects or programs for new ones. The limitations are to ensure that the projects are obligated promptly and using the same geographic area of the original earmark to provide funding for other needed projects eligible under the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program, STBG. When I knew about this, I saw the opportunity to combine the relinquishment funds of Main Street for the water line replacement and to use these grant funds for the surface rehabilitation, which is much needed. I was able to submit the application immediately thanks to we have a project shovel ready with the water line improvements plans completed. We will prepare the asphalt rehabilitation improvement plans in-house. We already have the plans for the water line that was prepared, I believe that around 2017 by the whole group. The provision for these grant funds states that an earmark must be more than 10 fiscal years prior to the current fiscal year, which is, since it's 2020, 10 years before is 2010, which is the year that began on October 1st, 2009. For an earmark to be eligible, it must be in a law or congressional report for a law passed before the end of fiscal year 2009. The repurposed funds may be obligated only on a new or existing projects within the 25 miles of the original earmark designation in the state. 25 miles can be considered from any reasonable point from the location of the earmark, but the new or existing project must be remain within the state. The original project listed in the application prior to 2009 was construct highway connecting State Route 78/86 and State Route 111 in Brawley. The proposed project is the asphalt rehabilitation and water line replacement along Main Street from 1st Street to 8th Street. The funds available from the grant are $1,901,833, and the reimburse rate is 80%, which means that the grant will pay up to 80% of the cost of the surface rehabilitation project up to the amount of $1.9 million. And the city will pay the 20% of the amount, which is approximately $380,000, plus the cost of the water line replacement from 1st Street to 8th Street. The cost of this water line, according to the estimate that was prepared at that time, is a little bit more than $2 million. We have until September 30, 2023 to obligate the funds. However, we want to complete the projects in the fiscal year 2021-2022. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Could you repeat again the amount of the grant?
Is $1,901,833.96.
Okay.
I thought you said 95 cents. Good thing you clarified.
Oh, okay.
that.
I'm sorry.
So then the city will come up with an additional 20% on top of that to go
Right.
toward that project.
Yes. That's for the resurfacing project,
Right.
plus the cost of the water line that is in the vicinity of $2 million from 1st Street to 8th Street.
So the plan would be to do that much of the project and then acquire more funds as you're going along to continue the project further east.
Right.
Right. That's what we'd have to.
And
Just to help fill in maybe a couple of the blanks, this was a long-conceived project from First to Main Street. It has had a dollar value that's hovered between 3 and 4 million, and did have a couple of other pipeline segments for sewer and water that were part of the original concept. So what this grant opportunity has made possible is pulling in some money that would have otherwise been a burden
waste.
of the relinquishment fund or the water fund. The concept is to take 1st through 8th, which is the original designed project, the primary portion, and basically flip-flop the funding sources. So we were successful in securing the repurposing for surface improvements. So the idea is to take perhaps a match amount from the relinquishment fund to do the underground improvements. And this will finally allow for the city to address First to Eighth, which won't consume all of the dollars associated with relinquishment, but will get a very strong start on a new surface for maintenance. So that's kind of the general concept. We didn't expect to have this opportunity to secure additional dollars. Our prior plan was entirely to either wait for the water fund list of projects at the plant itself to reduce enough that we had enough excess funds to accomplish the water line portion and then use relinquishment for the surface. So this is a chance to accelerate and hopefully begin some of the rebuilding in the downtown core that'll now be possible once what is below surface is fully addressed.
Good deal.
Good. Thank you. Any other
Madam Mayor,
questions?
yeah, just a comment, and thank you for that, Rosanna. I think that really clarifies, and that is the way I took it, that we took advantage, obviously, of a situation which many times we echo. It's kind of our strategy, even though, sometimes it's looked at as we're just hoping, but I think being able to, be at the right place, right time, seize this, Guillermo, we really appreciate the swift action, ability to, put this together, and it really stretches our dollars. It allows us to, again, I think it's another example of creative funding to take on these large, which are otherwise very expensive projects. And we can address a couple of things by, putting some of these funding sources together. So thank you very much. Great work, and that's good news.
Yes. Outstanding news then.
Thank you.
I just also wanted to ask you, how much of the relinquishment funds were going to be utilized for this project at this time? Do you know?
Well, for the water line is about 2 million, the cost. I can't remember what is the balance, but
Okay.
probably the finance director can provide that information later on.
Okay, thank you.
Right, 4 or 5.
Thank you for that
Thank you.
report. Very good.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, before we go into regular business, I believe the staff wanted to take a little break. Alma? Yes? Okay.
Okay.
So we'll take a 15-minute break?
Oh, yeah.
We'll take a 15-minute break.
All right.
We're meeting back to order. And we're on item 5 on our regular business, the agenda. And we have the update on the City of Brawley declaration of local emergency as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. And we have our Fire Chief, Mike York, to give us a presentation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Mike York, Fire Chief. Start this evening's update with the current case numbers for the Imperial County. As of today, this morning, within the Imperial County, we have tested 59,388 individuals in our county. A very significant number of our total population. Of those, our total negative counts is 48,273, which gives us a total positive count of 10,711. As of today, within the county, we have a total of 739 active cases, and the good news is 28 are currently hospitalized. So the vast majority of those individuals are recovering at home. Of the 28 that are currently in the hospital, 8 are in ICU. I did receive a report this afternoon from our local EMS manager, Chris Herring, that the out-of-county transfers from our hospitals have stabilized to near pre-COVID levels, which is extremely good news for our county and our neighbors. Of active cases, another part of the good news that we're experiencing right now, the alternative care site located at IVC has been downgraded to what they're calling a warm status. All of the supplies and equipment remain secured on site. However, there is no staff, which means there are no patients. If needed, that site can be brought back to operational status within 36 hours of activation. While the alternative care site was open, they saw a total of 213 patients that were convalescing or recovering within that site. Back to the numbers within the county, 9,678 people have been listed as recovered, so they were positive of COVID and have now tested negative. And unfortunately, we have suffered 294 deaths within our county. The 70 to 79 age group is the most affected. Within the 92227 area code, we've had 1,868 positive cases and 34 deaths. Last week, the state of California introduced the new blueprint for a safer economy, which is how we're tracking our roadmap to recovery, is to replace that on the county dashboard. The new blueprint identifies risk levels based on two factors, which are new cases per 100,000 and positive test percentage. Imperial County is in the highest level, still in what's considered widespread, which is identified as greater than 7 cases per 100,000 or greater than an 8% rate. As of today, we have 14.8 people per 100,000 and a 15.3% positivity rate. For consideration to move to the next level, which is called substantial, we would need to get into the 4 to 7 per 100,000 range and drop below 8% into the 5 to 8% range of positive test cases. Bringing it back to the Brawley Fire Department EMS response, since the beginning of the declaration, we've had 129 calls for service that were COVID related, and 56 of those calls were confirmed COVID positive. Within the county, obviously, we're still continuing to deal with the current emergency, the current disaster that has been declared. We're always looking to the future, so we're considering a second wave of COVID is of great concern. But of course, we have our annual flu season is rapidly approaching. A lot of planning is going into effect to address the flu season and how that may exacerbate the condition in relation to COVID-19. Some of the things that the Imperial County Public Health Department is looking at are flu clinics and drive-through vaccination clinics. And for the emergency medicine side, they are considering an optional scope so that paramedics may be able to vaccinate persons within their department or within their agencies, or possibly to augment staff at those flu clinics to free up some other clinical staff. Securing PPE and supplies has also stabilized. It's maybe not easier, but those supplies are in stock in the numbers that we need. And as always, we're continuing to work with our local, state, and federal partners, and city departments are continuing to adapt and make plans for these changing conditions and hopefully moving towards true recovery. That is the end of my report. If I can answer any questions.
What was the number on the number in the 9227 zone of people that have had cases? And the deaths, I got 34, but the other number?
The number of positive cases was 1,868.
Okay.
Chief, in some of those discussions regarding flu season, because that has come up in, obviously, I think probably all our conversations that we're having, but is there anything about that potentially being curbed, not just from obviously receiving the flu shot and the vaccine, but also on a typical flu season, you don't see the kind of social distancing and sort of the social engineering controls that are in place? Or is there any discussion that may have actually a positive impact on influenza?
It certainly is. We can't make big predictors on how that's going to affect, but in many ways, COVID-19 is a relative of influenza in the way that it's spread and the way that it's transmitted. So many of the techniques that we've adapted as a society should show us a reduced amount. Yeah. I think it does bear saying that we've had a pretty decent period between our last major holiday, and it's shown, I think we've seen a reduction in numbers, which has been allowing us to move to a better spot. And of course, this coming weekend is another 3-day weekend. It's not, we're going to have to see how that affects our public and how they gather and travel, and see what happens, and hopefully we don't see another spike like we saw after the 4th of July and the Mother's and Father's Days. So.
Yeah.
Chief, We have, we kind of compare ourselves to Yuma. Yuma, for a while there, was kind of in the same kind of condition that we were in. Do you have any stats on them? Because they're open a lot more than we are in their area.
Yes,
And-
sir. As a matter of fact, Yuma County, just for a point of reference, their population is 213,787. They have tested 66,273 persons. They've had a confirmed case count of 12,249, and they have recorded 321 deaths.
Okay, and they're at what percentage based upon their population in that situation?
I don't have the percentage
Oh, okay.
breakdowns. Their dashboard has quite a bit of information, but I think the
Yeah.
Carroll County dashboard is a little
Yeah.
easier to navigate.
I know that they're more open than we are because I've been over there. I mean, I kind of have an idea. You know, there's some places over there that are just the same as us, and they only do drive-through and takeout, restaurant-wise. And then there are many restaurants over there that are open with social distancing. Everybody over there, I noticed more people wearing masks. Okay, and I noticed more cognizant of social distancing than they were, say, 3 or 4 months ago. But they are more open than we are, and they don't seem to necessarily be at a real higher level than we are. So I'm wondering how that's kind of equated out. I don't know. I don't know if we look at that from state to state or if we don't.
Obviously being a different state and their policies and procedures differ from our state, they have a similar population composition in terms of ethnicity and age groups. They are at a different, they have different terms, but they are at a different stage than we
Yes.
are. I do know that some of the things that we still have not been allowed to do within the state of California have been approved in Arizona, such as dine-in, beauty salons,
Yes.
etc. I don't know the full scope of what is and is not open over there. I do know that they have still kept major public gatherings like movie theaters are still
Yeah,
closed.
those are good, and they don't allow the Civic Center to have events, and they do have some social distancing and stuff, and then they don't allow any special events. I don't even think sports are being allowed like we are, kind of like the same way we are here. But they do have a little more freedom in terms of what's going on.
I believe that is accurate, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 5B, discussion and potential action to approve resolution 2020, resolution of the City Council, City of Raleigh, amending the fiscal year 2020-2021 City of Raleigh budget for the library department in the amount of $51,479. And your backup material is on pages 85 through 89, and we have our library director to give us a report.
Yes.
Thank you, Marjo.
First off, I'd like to announce there's a typo on the resolution, the first page, the very bottom left line. Under budget numbers, the object code should read 101-551-100 instead of the 000 in the middle. And we wanted to make sure that you were aware of that before it got approved.
I was
Okay.
wondering
We'll
about
make-
that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that correction will be made. Alma, make a note of that, please? Okay.
Okay. We're really excited about what this money can do for the community. We have, the curbside has started last week. We've had 2 actual physical pickups, which is a good start. Many, many phone calls. Lots of new library cards because people are going to be reserving books. So we're really excited about that. And we have a huge thank you to our Brawley Library friends for coming up with the money in order to have someone help 10 hours a week to do that. It really makes a difference in what services we can offer. And in the last 2 weeks, I've had multiple calls every day of, are you open? So then I transfer it to, we're not physically open, and then it's usually pretty much dead silence until I explain we still have to go with the COVID restrictions of space and disinfection, and then they're like, okay, that usually keeps it to 1 sentence. But we have, like I said, we have issued some new library cards, so we're really looking forward to being able to have more people use that. We're also hopefully going to be sending flyers out to the schools also to let teachers know so they can refer their kids to the website to borrow the books, and that should really help them have more resources that they need. LAMS staff started again on August 25th. They've been contacting centers to see who will be open, if they allow visitors, if they can accept dropped-off materials, and one would allow us in, but they have 6 kids, which is cool, but everybody else nobody's allowed inside but them, which is perfectly fine with us. So our intention is to record a story time and then drop off packets to the centers for each child, and then they can either broadcast it in their facility if they have abilities. If not, there'll also be information for when the packet goes home to the family, where the parents can actually look at where it's posted if they have access to the internet and be able to actually look at the story time also. The other thing is the packet can be independent of watching a story time because it has information on parenting concepts, pre-literacy skills, a few worksheets. It will have the pieces they need for an activity or craft with suggestions for other things, and they will still get their free book that they keep at their homes, which is one of the absolute best parts of the whole LAMS program. So we will still be disseminating free books for families to have some at home so they can read to their kids more easily. So we're really excited about that. And then the last big program that we're really excited about is Brawley Reads. Brawley Reads started as a program a few years ago where adults basically read the same book, and then an event was scheduled. We've had an author visit for Wet Desert. We've had a presentation from a local judge who talked about the justice system and things. So we've had some really cool programs over the years. Well, when the library board and the Friends of the Libraries got together to talk about it, one of the things they said is it's a great program, but let's just change it to make it online, target kids versus adults. And we've had lots of readers come in. And I really appreciate Judy Grant because she's been the one who's been contacting many teachers and other friends that she knows to read. Hopefully you've all been like, you're coming up, you're coming up. Hopefully everybody's coming up. I know you're coming up. Did you get your book? I should not ask you that now.
Nothing
Okay.
too advanced for Sam, though, please. Nothing.
Hey, I'm gonna read something really good.
Well, we're hoping Sam wears a costume and shows some of the really
I can do that.
cool stuff that he's got.
I can do that. That's not a
50
problem.
Shades.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey.
I got lots of stuff.
Civil War.
And blue, if you're going to do Civil War. You have to have the gray.
Yeah, I have to galvanize, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to all of these things because they're exciting.
Children, this book's called The Shining. All right. All right.
That's the one I should do it on.
Right.
Good.
Well, we're actually want to start with chapter books where they're read in chunks of 10 minutes. So when they're posted, people can like read them one after the other or read a chunk and then wait till the next night, etc. So I don't know if The Shining's exactly one we're
No, I
looking
don't
for.
think, maybe that's not
But
what
we're
we're.
going to have The Mouse on the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary read
There we go.
in the next few weeks.
Well,
So a
George
little
can
bit
read that one.
older kids,
The Mouse
so
on the
including
Motorcycle.
adults. 'cause it's such a
Shepard
fun
gave me the
book.
look of disappointment. He's like, man, I can't believe we just did that. You know, it's like,
Well, what's fun is that various volunteers have read and their recordings are uploaded to the hub. The first one by Mrs. Grant has 2.7K viewers,
Whoa.
Wow.
and I'm only one of them. I only looked once. And the second
I
one,
looked at it too.
yes, oops,
Uh-oh.
sorry. The second one by Brendan Garibay has 1.1K views.
wow. See?
Wow.
More
And
popular
when-
than you, Armando.
And when you read the likes, I think some of them are very young ladies, maybe who really
There you go. There you go.
might enjoy that.
Right?
Um, the other 3 that have been posted, the numbers go up pretty much daily. I mean, one was just posted a few days ago. It's already got almost 300. So the views are really, really good for this program. And
Almost
I
like a
wanna-
dating app, this thing, you know? It's like,
Yeah,
there you go.
well, that's kind of not the dating part, but that's one of the reasons I wanted a young person to
Yeah.
read also.
No, that's true. I
He's
mean, engaging.
recognizable. He just graduated.
Yep.
He has a built-in
Didn't I
audience.
just talk to you about this? I
Just
just
talked
talked to him
about
about that. Yeah. so,
Yeah, that's what
Good.
we're looking
Good
for.
job on that. Yeah.
And I also want to thank Armando Garibay, who worked through my absolute no knowledge and taught me how to use the camera, got it set up, and all those kinds of things, and recruited his son for me because I asked. And then I also want to thank Rosanna, who posts them to the hub, and I'm going to be thanking Tyler, who will start doing that next week, I hope. Okay.
He's like, huh?
That's how to get things
Add it to the list, Tyler.
Add it to the list. So I want to thank everybody for reading and for setting up an appointment to read. And members of the public are very welcome to come read. Okay, I think that's the diversity is there. We haven't posted it yet, but we have one story read in Spanish. So that's someone I'm recruiting for, which is a big hint,
Okay.
who might want to read a story in Spanish for us because
Sam?
we have the audience.
No,
Well,
that's not my.
Donnie's got a good
I
accent.
can, but as everybody tells me, I sound like a high school Spanish teacher when I'm reading Spanish.
Luke is very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Spanish, reading Spanish? Yeah,
See, you can do it.
I can handle
Yeah.
it.
Well, anyway, back to the actual resolution.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
I get so proud of the
Yes.
library.
That's
the staff.
fantastic, though. It's good stuff.
And look at the interaction with all the departments.
That's
and
great
the
to
whole
hear.
thing. Yeah,
But
and
see-
leadership.
And no kidding. I mean, all kidding aside, it's like it's important for us. I get excited too. I
Yeah.
mean, we get excited. We haven't been in this room for a long time together, so
Right.
to hear that the staff's interacting. But see, that goes back to the messaging, like where we need to message that to the public and tell them, like, hey, we're working on it. This is, all the little steps that are involved is just getting people, to be excited again. That's great. I love it. Yeah.
Yep, me too. So, what this is two pots of money. One is accepting the money from the Friends officially, although the check's been cashed and deposited. The other one is an email that shows how much we will be getting. The state usually doesn't pay us give us some money till January, but we're going to get exactly what it is. There are different object codes and categories for what we want to do. One of the things that we're looking at is, even with COVID-19, to offer tutoring for adults, which we have such a robust program, is to be able to do it online. And a few years ago, we got a grant with I think it was 8 laptops, and then we got another grant for 8 tablets. So we'll be able to check those out to people who may not have them, especially our long-term people who've been in the program a while, and then they'll be able to talk to each other for the tutoring sessions. We can buy materials and have it directly sent to their house, and this grant covers all those kinds of things, including a staff member who works 25 hours a week. It covers his salary pretty much between the 2 grants. So we're really excited about it. So that's my way long-winded presentation about library grants.
Great.
Thank
Good
you
job.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll go ahead and make the motion, as noting the one change, I think, that was pointed out in the resolution, and as read, as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Councilman Wharton, second by Mayor Pro Tem. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or object? Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Thank you very much, Marjo. Appreciate all the work on this.
Thank you all so much too. It's fun to have good stuff.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on then to item 5C, discussion and potential action to authorize the City of Brawley file server storage hardware refresh project in the total amount of $84,472.62. The backup is on pages 90 through 92, and we have our IT specialist or director. Are you?
City Information
Mr.
Systems
Armando
Manager.
Garabay to give us a report.
Good
What is
evening,
your
council.
official title, Armando? Sorry.
Information Systems Manager.
Okay, thank you.
The proposed solution that's in your documentation is a solution to refresh the existing hardware, which has exceeded its normal life expectancy from the manufacturer. This file share repository is used by multiple departments. Finance, it's got some of our network accounts, some of our on-premise email, and Laserfish public records. In this hardware, council did approve $29,883.06 as a project, capital project. The remaining balance will be covered as prepaid licensing that would have been paid anyway in the existing legacy hardware. We also have the option of not doing anything at all. However, a third-party manufacturer's warranty would need to be executed because the existing manufacturer deemed it end of life and will no longer support it.
So Armando, with respect to if we didn't spend the money on this, we would still have to buy a third-party service, right?
Yes, so there's an expense that would still be there.
For something that's outdated.
It's
Yeah.
that's outdated, right? And then we run the risk of running something that's legacy, that's no longer supported and has a high likelihood of failure.
Yeah, and if it fails, then we don't have any way to okay, very well.
And this budget amount had already been encumbered in our 2021 budget?
Yes, it was.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions from council?
Nope.
I make a motion to approve the item.
A second.
Okay, motion by Councilman George Nava, second by Councilman Sam Couchman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, or abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Armando. I know
Thank you,
you've been
Thank you.
doing really good work for us, especially during, the COVID transition and workloads and everything else, and on Zoom, and everybody's been needing their laptops. So we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Yes, we do, and we appreciate you teaching us how to operate in all these systems, because most of us would probably, well, some of us would have been lost. I don't know about most of us, but some of us would have been lost. Appreciate it.
I'm starting to lose my hair, but I thank you for.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and move on to departmental reports. A monthly staffing report for September 2020, prepared by our Personnel and Risk Management Administrator, Shirley Bonillas.
I'm smiling. Just want to
Yes,
let you know
no,
that.
no, we can see it.
I think we can tell, yeah.
Good evening, council members, mayor, Shirley Bonillas, Personnel and Risk Management Administrator. Page 93 is the monthly staffing report. As usual, my one-person department's very busy. It's kind of hard to keep me busy. No, it isn't. We have firefighter testing. The first step, once you gather the candidate pool, is a written test for firefighters. That will occur on Saturday, September 12th. We have a nice size pool, but we also have 4 openings. So the chief and I feel that we have enough to work with. After the written, whoever passes the written will move on to physical agility, which will include a test that all fire department personnel must take to make sure they can do wildland fires. So we're going to incorporate that new into our physical agility test. And from there will be the oral interviews, and then finally backgrounds once the selected candidates accept the offer. We have 4 people in backgrounds for dispatchers, the 3 newest and the 1. And then we just conducted police officer interviews about 2 weeks ago. Going to do that again this Thursday. Just keeping up on the pile as it comes in. Let's get it interviewed. Let's see if we got any viable candidates and keep on moving forward to fill the 2, now 3 openings. We have 3 police officer openings. We lost one just last week. We conducted interviews for water distribution sewage collection systems operator, AKA pre-treatment operator today, and that process is moving forward. And as Marjo has told you about all the activity at LAMS, we hired back the 2 LAMS personnel. We have recruitment for the project coordinator that Marjo and I are going to be talking about soon on how we want to move forward with that position, if we want to change it up a little bit. And then we hired the part-time library person back to handle the curbside. And of course, I'll answer any questions that I'm able to, sir.
Just for clarification, you said, so there's 4 openings with police?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We lost a police officer last week. So we have 1 dispatcher and 3 police officers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Thank you so
Shirley.
much, and the staff of one in that department does a good job, great job.
Mhm.
I'm going to lose my coworker. My backup team is leaving me. Tyler, I hope you're up for the challenge.
He didn't hear that.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
heard it. I saw him. He heard it.
Okay.
All right. I can read his lips.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 5B on our agenda, the update on the emergency construction project at the Brawley Water Treatment Plant to replace components of 2 sedimentation basins, presented by our Public Works Director, Guillermo Cias.
Hello again, Mayor, council members, Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. This project was under emergency and it continues. The current status of the construction is that on August 20, the Public Works Department and Leah Rowe, the designer, walked through the project as a final inspection and noticed some items and were included in a punch list. Those are the bracers of the exit channels of the water needs to be reinforced. Also, some of the washers were missing where they connect the different pieces of these channels, and some bolts were shorter than required. The contractor was informed, and they are in the process to correct those to complete the original project. The status of the change order that was approved for the raw water pond BFD and the actuator of the sludge collector, the change order agreement was sent to the contractor on August 5th for signature and was returned today. Today, the contractor told us that he expect to have the materials to arrive and to be installed during the first week of December due to the lead time of this type of materials. Pretty much the original project is like 98% completed or 99. Just some these little adjustments that needs, but is being working properly for months. We are just waiting for the additional equipment to be installed as part of the change order. Any questions?
Happy to hear it's moving forward and almost done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guillermo. Okay, well, moving on to informational reports. In your packet, the record of the building permits for July 2020, prepared by Oscar Escalante on pages 94 and 95 for your information. I don't know if anyone has any comments or questions regarding the report. A lot of activity still on housing projects, which is always good to see. Okay, we'll move on then to the city council member reports, and let's see, we'll go ahead and start over here on my right. Councilman George Nava.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. Again, I just want to thank Rosanna for your years of service, Rosanna, for everything you've done for the city. I know you're going to be successful. I am going to personally miss you and professionally miss you. You've done so much good work for us, so thank you again for everything that you've done. And I know that your family will do well there too. Congratulations to your son, by the way. I know he's getting started in a new chapter in his life too. So, and I just want to thank staff for the work that they're doing. Everybody's working really hard. I'm happy to be back at the council chambers. It's very difficult to remain engaged, when you're, just essentially working from a screen, So it's good for me. Mentally it's good for me too. So I'm glad to see you all, and I will be taking part in a few items with respect to the city. One is taking place tomorrow, and that is some filming that's being done on behalf of, as chairperson of ICTC, Imperial County Transportation Commission. I'll be doing some filming along with some other notable people that are really, it's a great group of people that I'll be sharing some screen time with, to include Eric Garcetti, which is the mayor of Los Angeles. So it should be good. It's a group of about 6 people, and those comments and those questions that we'll be talking about will be aired at a later date, later in the month, and I hope to share that with you. But I'll do my very best in representing Brawley well and ICTC, and just bringing to light some of the challenges we face here in Imperial County and Brawley when it comes to transportation and other issues. So we're unique in that regard. So I'll do that. And then working with some small businesses that are just starting to open up again. I'm excited to see that. And, you know, there's just a lot of good things that are going to be coming to the city. I think people are excited to get back to normal, if you will. I'm excited. And it's refreshing to get back in here, too, and seeing all of you. So, again, thank you. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilman Morgan?
Madam Mayor, and echoing the good to be back in not just council chambers, but it's always this time of year, right? Fall, back to school. Even though some of those things are different, they've changed. I do notice throughout the several conversations I've had over the past month that one thing that doesn't change is really who and what we are as a community. So it's really neat to see at the end of the day we all pull together, whether it is working together on behalf of our children in school and that returning, as well as business returning. I know there was a lot of really just community lobbying on behalf of business and really what we are very proud to call our mom and pop businesses here in town. So also with the changes, I do echo it's been it's always difficult to change when we're following the work, Rosanna, that you've done in 9 years, and I still want to come back and that's something that's weighed heavy over the past few weeks on my mind in terms of what we need to do as a council to adjust and prepare ourselves to move forward. But I do want to echo really on behalf of all of us, and really I include Rosanna in this, as the best way we can sort of follow the legacy is to carry on the good work and the great work. And I'm absolutely confident with the experience that we have with the staff and the dedication that we're going to be able to do that. So, I often think as a leader in some of my own, even professional life, it really is about the people that really allow you to be a leader. And Rosanna, as you so often defer to staff, and I hate saying that because it sounds so general, but because to us it's names and faces and people here that really become family. So with that, I do want to echo that it's incumbent upon the council that we come together more than ever and help us continue to press ahead. There's a lot of work ahead of us, clearly challenges. On a very positive note, I had some engagement directly with the Cattle Call Committee. Hopefully I'm not stealing their thunder, but I'm willing to share it because I think this council took some action about a month or so ago to allow the Cattle Call Committee to go forward with the possibility of having the rodeo performances, and it looks like that is going to happen with the support of the county. So I know on behalf of the city, I'm very grateful to the county and hearing out their case, and I think they're taking tremendous measures. That is not to say there'll be public, like a crowd or a gathering, but the performances itself will move on. So I'm very proud of the fact that Brawley can kind of rally around that there will be in some form or fashion something for us to celebrate that time of year. It's also said that this will likely be televised, I believe. I'm sure we'll get more of a thorough report, on that in the coming weeks. But again, happy to just share that and have had that engagement. My final message is just as businesses are opening more than ever, as we've echoed it, supporting local. So thank you, Councilmember Nava, for highlighting one of our downtown businesses. I think we have always done that, and Councilmember Nava has always taken the time, whether it be videos or postings or whatever it is. But I think all of us as a council, we need to continue to echo that, practice that, support local. I know we do. And I just want to signal that to our own businesses here that we will continue that, and if every one of our 27,000, whatever the number is, citizens can do just a little bit, makes a big difference. So,
if I could add one more thing, I'm sorry to cut you off.
That was
I do want to introduce you to the latest and greatest fitness model, Mr. Donnie Wharton. So you may see him on social media, Instagram. He's modeling for Zeno Gym. Great job, man. So that's good. I've seen you on a few spots now, so you
Thank
did a
you.
good job.
The principal of that is a Brawley born and raised resident.
Yeah.
I'm
So
proud
it's
of
a,
him. So-
it's a fitness center, and it's pretty cool. So he was able to do some modeling for us. So congratulations on that too, Danny.
Yeah. They needed somebody with a gray beard. Tyler, you would appreciate this. And they found that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Morton. Councilman Couchman?
Okay. Don't have a lot to report. One of the couple different things, I know that I've been traveling around the city and there's a lot of things going on. I want us to push the Allen Street repair simply because I think it's impacting that street a lot, and it seems to have some delays that have been happening. I don't think it's through the fault of the city. I do think there's been some things that they found there that they weren't aware of, and so but it does impact those people on that street. And I'm more concerned about the older people that may have to park their cars long distances and walk from their houses, those kinds of things. I think we've done about the best we can do under the circumstances, but I still think that project needs to be pushed forward as much as possible. And there are days when they don't work on it, and that's part of my concern. They may be waiting for some parts to come in. They may be waiting for things to happen, but I just don't know what this whole situation is. But I've had good dialogue with the city staff and with Rosanna, and I think that they're working through those issues, but I would like to see that project completed because I think it does impact those residences. Just around the city, I've seen a lot of things going on. I do go to Vons, I do go to Walmart, I do go to some of the places for takeout, et cetera. Everybody seems to be holding their own, that are open. They're not making a lot of money, but at least they're breaking even, or at least they're trying to succeed with some of the restrictions that we have, and so that'll be good. I do think we're going to start opening the hair salons and the barber shops. Now, some of them are making the decision to not open right away. I think that's probably a valid one because some of them have some concerns that they may have to shut back down, or there may be some issues there. So I think they're going to give it a few days or a week or so just to let that happen, and then they'll probably be open again. But I know that's been a big issue for us, and hopefully that will get resolved. I have been out of our county into the Yuma County area on business and other things that we go over there for, and I noticed that they operate on a little different level. However, there are many restaurants over there that don't allow dine-in, and there are other stores that aren't open over there, and so they're running through some of the same things that we are. A little bigger area, a little bit more population, so they have a little bit more problems maybe with social distancing and stuff. But they are wearing masks over there just as we are here, and I noticed there's a lot more people wearing masks here, a lot more people social distancing. So that's a good thing, and I do recommend that people do that simply because it will at least slow down the spread of this disease. I do appreciate our Dr. Fareed being on national news and talking about issues like treatment and everything. I think it's unique that when doctors are arguing about the treatment and when doctors have questions about the treatment, I think that's a unique situation in most diseases, and you'll see that happen occasionally. But in this situation, I think it's bigger than most, and so we're seeing a lot of that around the country. So we'll see how that goes. I think we will have a vaccine. I think it probably will come in after the first of the year, but hopefully we will get one, and that will make a difference in what we do here. Other than that, I can't think of anything offhand. We are resuming our Rotary meetings through Zoom. And it's a tough process because most of the Rotarians are not familiar with Zoom, and so but we have been doing that. We're probably getting 9, 10 to 12 members signing in out of a membership of maybe 30 or 35. So that's what's happening there. We are starting that. I'm going to do a presentation, update them on the city of Brawley tomorrow at noon. So we have those meetings at noon. They usually are held at Pioneers. As you know, that's a problem. So we're not going to be doing that, but we are Zooming meetings right now. Okay? And so other than that, I say thank you to the city staff, everybody on the city staff. I see them driving around town. I see them doing the work. I see them doing what needs to happen out there to keep the city functioning, and everything seems to be on an even keel, and hopefully everything will continue to operate well. And so thank everybody for all their service and everything that goes on, and like I said to Rosanna before, we'll really miss you. So other than that, that's it. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Couchman. Mayor Pro Tem Hamby?
Madam Mayor, thank you. I don't have a lot to report. I did meet with Chamber of Commerce CEO to discuss some of our issues in the future of Brawley and businesses within it. I participated in an interview with the audit team that's working on the city audit, and I'm just encouraged that that is happening now, and thank Tyler for all of his hard work and getting us on the ball early for our next budget cycle. I did receive a call from Mark Huber regarding the cattle call events, and I'm glad to see that that is going to take place, even if there will be no spectators on site, but at least it gives the contestants and participants a way to get their points that they need for their circuit, and maybe retain some of the sponsorship that we have that might have gone away if we didn't have anything to offer. I did call and left messages for our assembly member and our senator regarding some bills that were before the state yesterday, many of which were, I think, would have been a difficulty for municipalities and for business owners. In the name of COVID, I think they're trying to pass a lot of legislation that would just be so burdensome, and so it looked like a few of those that were especially egregious were not passed. But there will be some changes that are going to be difficult, I think, for the city of Brawley and for business owners in general. And I just, with everything else that's gonna be difficult, the economic fallout and the trying to restart businesses that have been shut down and that kind of stuff, I hope it's not too much for some of those businesses that otherwise would have survived. I would like to wish Armando a happy birthday a few days ago. And
Happy belated. I hope you got some cake.
yeah, did you get some of that cake, Armando? And I've had several conversations with Ryan Rebel, on behalf of the Brawley Youth Football, trying to use some of our facilities for youth conditioning exercises, not for team sports because those are still prohibited, but his desire and goal is to be able to see kids out there exercising, getting fresh air and some help for their mental and physical health. And so my hope is that working together with Parks and Rec that he can get that started, because that sounds like a pretty good program to have running. Without the actual contact sports or the team sports part of it, at least the kids can be getting out and interacting at a safe distance, and maybe getting out of their parents' hair for a couple hours in the evenings as it starts to cool off. But that's about it for my report. I also want to echo what everyone else has said, Rosanna, and thank you for your hard work here, and wish you the best in the future. And hopefully you'll have a spare bedroom if any of us want to come up and visit for a day or two, cool off. That's it for my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hamby. Okay, on my report, I just kind of wanted to highlight, I've been mentioning that I've been calling in on these statewide conference calls that give us an update. A lot of it is statistical information, such as the one that we got from our fire chief. So I'm not going to go into that. The only things of interest, I guess, is that since the fires started in the state of California, that a large part of the report has to do with the fires and where they're at. A lot of the fires are still they still haven't controlled all of them. They're like anywhere from 20% to LA County was 90% containment, which was great news. But there's some areas that are still 20% and 40%, 54%. So we still have a lot of fires going on in California. And one of the things they mentioned is that in addition to the COVID unemployment insurance that's still out there, now they're also authorizing what they call disaster unemployment assistance claims. So the Employment Development Department now has a more volume of work coming to them with the disaster unemployment assistance. But It doesn't affect us down here, but it did affect obviously a lot of counties throughout the state. And another thing that, as you all know, the federal government had authorized a $600 a week additional unemployment insurance, and that ended, I think, at the end of July, I believe. So the new program for $300 a week will take effect on September 7th. So the folks that are still unemployed due to COVID and are drawing their regular unemployment insurance benefits will be eligible for an additional $300 a week. And since this started in March, the Employment Development Department has paid out $77 billion in unemployment insurance benefits. So that's a heck of a lot of money. And that doesn't include the other money that they've given for business loans and all. So, I mean, it's money that's out there hopefully helping a lot of folks. I know that we see on the news that there's still people that are falling between the cracks and not getting the assistance. But as representatives of the city, if you do know of anybody in particular that has a hardship, I can report directly up to Sacramento and they can look into the issues. So if you do know anybody that's not been able to get benefits for one reason or another, let me know and I can communicate that up to Sacramento. Aside from that, I had some good news. I went by, of course, down Legion Road as we all did, and we saw that they were working on the sidewalks today already. So I was real happy to see that there's work commenced already on our Legion Road. So thank you, Guillermo. I did also have a concern. I have passed by Allen Street, and I wondered what the status was on that. So hoping that will progress a little faster for the people that live there. I got quite a few phone calls. Most of them were positive when they heard on the news the change in the restrictions with the new blueprint. I think that's what they're calling it. So I got a few phone calls regarding the hair salons and the barbershops, and then I got a few phone calls of people that wanted to open the nail salons. So obviously those are not approved yet. But I provided them with information and also the information on the website as reference. And another little bit of good news, the council will be working on a video presentation that will highlight all our accomplishments during this current year. And so George will be taking the lead on that. Thank you, George. And I think if I had Rosanna send me the list of everything that's been done, and I was amazed at all the things really that have been accomplished through the help of all of you, of course, with the city. And again, thank you, Rosanna. You know, for people out there that don't think we've done much, they're going to be surprised when they see how much has actually been done in our city. The pandemic, you know, obviously made things look a little dark, but I think people are really excited now. I see a lot of excitement. A few people that I know that own businesses, retail, are really happy, even though it's limited to 25%. They're just happy to be able to open their doors and have people in there. And I'm going to be happy pretty soon when I get to Macy's, and I haven't done that in quite a while. Let's see. And I did get a call also. I was real happy to hear from Mark Huber that the county approved their plan to move forward with the cattle call, and looking forward to that, and in any way that we can help out. And the youth sports also has been a hot issue. A lot of the coaches and people that help with kids, and moms and dads that have their kids normally involved in sports are looking forward to the city being able to allow them to use a park, or, you know. So I guess we'll be working on that also. And other than that, just kind of been available to the public out there any way that we can help and give them direction. Happy to do that. And I want to thank everybody for all their help, all the department heads, the police department, fire department, everyone. And of course, like everyone has said, we're going to miss Rosanna very much. But she's still here for a few days, so if you need anything from her, you better get it this week. Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll go ahead and go on to you, Rosanna, for your city manager report.
A few brief items that I have not been able to place into an email for update. Wanted to let you know, yesterday, Tyler Salcido and I had a chance to meet with San Diego State Imperial Valley campus representatives, Victor Nava, Dean Ponce, and Dr. Mark Wheeler. And basically, it was a takeoff of a discussion that occurred at the beginning of 2020 with the mayor present, along with a number of other North End stakeholders. And where they're going, I don't know if you've been following in the San Diego Union Tribune some of the updates on future campus expansion efforts in the San Diego area. That type of discussion was very much a part of the roundtable that occurred at the Brawley Chamber in early 2020, and it was looking at the vision for the North End campus, seeing that as the campus currently stands on the South End, it's really got some constraints from a land point of view, and the potential in the North End allows for perhaps a different pathway for looking at innovation and ways to create synergy between city and campus into the future. So I am certain Tyler is going to have a chance to work closely with the new leadership out at the Imperial Valley campus to start putting together a stakeholder group that will specifically focus on North End industrial innovation opportunities. So looking at the potential for ag technologies, looking at different growth opportunities that haven't been captured yet. You may recall historically there's been kind of a linkage with renewable energy and looking at different demonstrations out there. The hope is to find a niche that would allow for a corporate entity to come and be a very significant part of the campus reimagining. So it's an innovation center tied with residential, tied with all kinds of entertainment and overall kind of desirable quality of life features. I will be working with Gordon Geist prior to my departure to give him a chance to add to that discussion. He'll be a part of the next presentation. They want to understand what the plans are on the east end of town from a Porter Ranch point of view and Lucky Ranch. So this is kind of the long range hope for this campus as the demands of students well into the future sometimes outgrow or outpace existing facilities. So looking forward to seeing that kind of bright spot for Brawley in the not so distant future. Wanted to also note that when the blueprint for a safer economy came out, we did, as staff, do quite a bit of outreach to businesses that had been in touch, trying to track and gauge when they were possibly going to be reopening. Because there was some very good news for our local barbershops and hair salons, we did do a lot of outreach to give them the updates and work in tandem with the county to make sure they were aware of their ability to reopen on Monday. And I think we'll continue to see more businesses open as they work their way through those checklists, which are basically a self-monitoring mechanism. Prior to opening, there are no other approvals that are required. So hoping that there's some relief for them in the not so distant future. Last item I wanted to report on was just a quick recap of the type of contact that we've had since some of the park activities can now resume. They have spanned adult and youth, although the adult component does not have the same approvals to proceed. It's really the youth sports where the reopening has occurred. And we've not only received football requests, but also soccer requests. So we are, as staff, getting very well acquainted with the things that are allowed and not allowed, and the various groups have certain levels of sophistication about it. Staff are working hard to figure out how we can match the interests with the budget for this year through December. You might recall there were very specific features that were assumed for July 1 through December 30. Or 31st, 30. So when there's an opportunity to try to accommodate it within our budget, we're doing it. And when there's not, we'll be coming to the council to either look at the cost recovery approach, which is, has no financial impact on us, or a budget adjustment to test the waters with the council. Is there a willingness? And the two areas that we see most significant that relate to this are the restrooms, having the restrooms open, being able to clean them and have them available, because so many of the activities occur after the normal work hours of parks and maintenance personnel. That's a piece, and then the other is field lighting. So that's kind of a preview of the coming attractions. If we're not able to wedge those activities in before daylight ends, there are going to be some other features to maybe consider. With that, I want to thank the council for all the incredible memories of the last 9 years. I wish the city nothing but the greatest success. You can't become a great place unless you have the aspiration to do so. And I know every single one of you cares so deeply about this community and its success. And the future will be brighter because of it, because of challenging all of us to reach for the best that each of us can be and each of us can contribute. So thank you so much. I really do have nothing but gratitude for these years of service to you and to the people of Brawley.
Even our arguments, Rosanna, you're gonna miss those too? No, no comment on that. Yeah.
She
She's
forgets
like-
those. She
yeah.
forgot those already. City Attorney?
Two things. I've been asked to serve on the committee to figure out what to do with the money that's been donated for the victims of the Nyland fire. And we've been meeting. It's just under $300,000 that's been donated or pledged, which sounds like a lot of money, but there's like 33 families without homes now, and the vast majority of those folks had no insurance. So it's we're trying to figure out what to do with that money in a fair and equitable manner, and it's tough. A lot of people want it, and it sounds like a lot, but it's not. So that's one of the things I've been working on this summer. The other thing is Sunday took a picture of a few guys said they were donating things to Salvation Army in the alley by my dojo.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
Salvation Army's
saw
not
that.
there anymore. It hasn't been there since I lived in Brawley, as far as I know. I would ask the council, as a citizen, a resident of Brawley, let's consider an ordinance to something, because that alley,
Yep.
Mr. Nava knows, is a disgrace.
It is.
It's if people think they're donating, they're not. What happens, and I'm there in the evening, I'm there late, people drop stuff off, and homeless people go through it, or other people, I don't know who they are, and what they don't want, they just throw in the alley.
Yep.
And it ends up in front of my business, it ends up in front of Lift It Up, it ends up probably all the way over to George's
No,
business.
I every day that I come through, I do drive the neighborhood, that area, and it's constant. Like there's new mattresses every day, and trash everywhere, and it's just a bunch of material out there. So now we do need to do something about
I
that.
came home from vacation and drove over there, and I counted like 10 mattresses.
Yeah.
And I was like, God dang it, on Monday I'm going to call Rosanna and see. I got there on Monday, and Rosanna had already taken care of it. Thank you very much. It was
Yeah.
all gone. But, a week later, there's a chair, there's this, there's that.
And there's that delivery truck that's there too on
delivery-
on the city parking lot that we need to address as well.
And basically, there's two thrift shops there, and they are essentially a public nuisance, and they ought
Yeah.
to be shut down as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, that's my rant as a citizen. So.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. City Clerk? Okay, thank you. Okay, that concludes our open meeting. We're going to go ahead and go into closed session. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon.